My name's Nate Boley, and 20 years ago, strength training changed the course of my life. I built a gym here in Bend, Oregon from scratch that's helped over 1,500 people change their lives as well through strength training. If you want to change your life, head over to benstrengthwarehouse.com, hit the Start My Journey button, and let's chat. All right, guys, we'll see you there. Hey, guys, welcome back to the podcast. Hope you all had an amazing Memorial Day weekend. Hopefully you guys did some fitness or something for your health on Monday. I know I did. I did a triple header on Monday, and I'm feeling pretty beat up about it. But 4:30 in the morning was up on the top of the butte, the Pilot Butte here. It's, I don't know, probably about a 3/4 of a mile hike one way, so about a mile and a half, I think it is. And then I went to the gym and did my regular bench press workout with upper body and arms and all that stuff. And then I was at the gym later on, and we were having a special Memorial Day workout for the gym. And I decided to hang out with some of the members and do it. And I didn't finish it. I was completely smoked. My back was lighting on fire, and it just wasn't going very well for me. So I did about a little over half, but it was fun to hang out with the members. Some people I don't get to see very often, because I'm usually picking up my kiddo at that time when that class is going. But it was really fun. All of the members were very inviting, were giving me high fives and stuff for following along with them. So that was great. But welcome back to the podcast, season 2, the foundations of fitness, common pitfalls that we see with people starting new fitness regimens, right? So I just got three common pitfalls that we find usually within the first 6 months of somebody starting or restarting a fitness routine. So the first one is overcommitting and overtraining. So I get this all the time. These people will come into our gym. You probably remember when you came to see me at the gym and went through the no sweat intro. A lot of people are like, hey, I just want to get going. I want to get to my goals as quickly as possible. So I want to come in 5 days a week. And these people, a lot of them haven't done anything for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, maybe even more, or maybe never. And so I always like to start everybody off with a little bit smaller than that, so they can ramp their way into the routine. And it's not always about just switching and changing everything. It's about stacking small habits, right? It's not always about just jumping into the lake head first and, taking the whole thing. A lot of times that can be a very big deterrent for somebody, because they get going, they start doing it, they feel really sore, they feel really beat up the first week or two because they are coming in that many times a day, that many times a week. And then it gets overwhelming and their schedule gets in the way. It's really like an all or nothing mentality. And it's not the best mentality to have. No, I get it when you're going for your health and everything like that. You really gotta, batten down the hatches and just go for it. Right. But at the same time, that is the biggest pitfall we see. People will go in and they'll overcommit, they'll overtrain, they'll get discouraged because they're not seeing the goals fast enough. They're not seeing whatever come off fast enough, or gains or whatever it is. And they go, happy hours tonight. I was supposed to go to the gym, but my friends are here and I'm going to skip. And then they skip the next day because they possibly have a hangover or they're tired. And then all of a sudden they used to do strength training, right? It's not a thing they do anymore, because if you miss 2, the likelihood of you keep on missing is very, very high. And we see it all the time. So we're here to help you overcome that. The biggest thing we do is to overcome that as a gym, Strength Warehouse does. And, we feel we try to go above and beyond most other gyms here in Bend, but we customize your programs, your plans, your workouts, keeping you going. We, again, in the no sweat intro, we'll make sure that you're not biting off too much. Like, I would never sign somebody up for 5 days a week that hasn't been training for, the last 3 to 5 years. Like, it's just, I would never do that to you. I would talk you into doing less and then ramping up, or I would just say, hey, it's probably not a good fit for you, and I wish you the best. But this is how we coach, because we have been through the ringer around the block multiple times. We've helped thousands of people, and this is the best way for you to get here. So that's how the first pitfall and how we help overcome that with you. The second one is, I see this so many times, I hear about it all the time, neglecting your form or technique resulting in some type of injury. whether it's an acute injury or just a nagging one that like, you kind of maybe tweak something or whatever. Mostly shoulders, knees, back, stuff like that. We see that a lot. Yeah, it's just such a bummer because, you can learn some stuff off of YouTube. Don't get me wrong. I've learned stuff off YouTube. YouTube is a great place to go and, find resources and stuff like that. But you can't have somebody from YouTube watching your form and making sure that you're doing it exactly like they say. And then again, doing it correctly, using the right weights, doing the right sets, making sure you're not fully fatigued before you go into a big compound movement. That type of stuff is very, very advantageous to having a long fitness journey. You don't want to be going in right away, especially if you haven't done anything for a long time. And then all of a sudden you're just like, bam, I'm doing squat, bench, deadlift, kind of like I was back 5 years ago, or I'm doing high intensity workouts and I really haven't done anything for a long time. And it's just a great way to get injured. So how we mitigate that is, we make sure that we know all your injuries going into training, right? I don't know very many gyms here in Bend that do this, if any, where they get to know you and they get to understand where you've been and what kind of injuries you've had. What have you done in the past? What are you comfortable with? There's just so many people out there, so many gyms out there that say, hey, come in for a class. We'll kick your butt and we'll get you a good sweat. And then they either run outside throwing up or they hurt themselves. And it's just not a great way to start. So we help you by, in the No Sweat intro, we find out all your injuries, making sure that everything's completely, we know everything about you in that respect, everything that you've told us at least, right? And then we can work around it. Just for an example, we had a newer client come in the other day and he's like, I cannot do overhead press with a barbell, period. Every time I've done it, my shoulder's been all messed up for months on end, and then I get discouraged and I can't work anymore. I'm like, okay, great. So we're not going to do any barbell presses with you, at least for right now, until we can figure out why the shoulder's doing that, because there's always a why. Now, it may be outside of our scope or we can't fix it. Maybe it needs surgery or something like that. But there's a good chance that it also just needs to be strengthened up and move correctly, or maybe there's some form adjustment that needs to be happening in that motion. So we can always do regressions and progressions in every single movement and making sure that everything's super solid and ready for you to keep going, right? But yeah, and that's the thing. We take you through what we call the on-ramp, which if you're going into classes, because we use a lot of barbells, and barbells can be scary to people that haven't done it before. It also can be, an injury risk if you don't know what you're doing. So we take you through the on-ramp where we're really making sure that you move correctly and making sure there's no weird aches and pains that we may have forgotten about in the No Sweat intro, or, things that you may in your mind say, hey, I know how to do that. And then we get you into that movement. We're like, no, you really don't. Or you need a little bit of work, or no, hey, great. You're moving awesome. We love it. Let's continue on. And that's really the idea behind the on-ramp, is just making sure that they're getting the best service and they're putting their best foot forward when it comes to their fitness, right? All right, so the last one I'm going to go into, and that is setting unrealistic goals and expectations, mostly time expectations. People will come in, leads will come in, and they'll say, hey, I want to lose 20 pounds. And I'm like, okay, what's your time frame? And they're like, 2 months. I'm going on a wedding, or I'm getting on a plane, or I'm going to the beach, or whatever it is. Like, I need to lose 20 pounds in 2 months. And it's like, okay, that's probably not going to happen without really extreme measures. But do you want just to lose 20 pounds because you're going to the beach, or do you want to lose 20 pounds and have it sustainably off you for a long period of time and feel really good about it and not do something that's pretty harsh on your body? People just come in and they think, hey, it's 20 pounds. It's not a big deal. I can lose that in 2 months. And like I said, you absolutely can by doing crash diets and stuff like that and high intensity workouts. It's not sustainable. And most people that go down that route end up gaining that weight back or more, especially if they get injured right away. So the way we do it is we help you create SMART goals, which are, sustainable, and they're for the long term, and you can track them, right? And so it's like we use some apps that we can track it, right? Objectively and then subjectively. So we use apps like Chalk It Pro is one of our coaching apps. And that way you can take all your workouts and you can track them over time. And then you can go back from when you started the gym and you can look at it and be like, oh, wow, I was doing XYZ weight on this on this lift, and now I'm doing this, and that's amazing. That's a huge amount of maybe it's 50 to 100 pounds, or maybe it's 200 pounds, or who knows what it is. We use the in-body scanner. So when we first come into the gym, we scan your body composition, and we get a good idea of what you're made of. If you're made of, you have this much fat, you have this much muscle, you have this much water in your cells. This is what each limb kind of looks like with muscle mass. And then we can track that every 90 days. And that's an objective thing, being like, hey, I gained 5 pounds of fat, 5 pounds of muscle. Nobody wants to gain 5 pounds of fat. 5 pounds of muscle and lost 5 pounds of fat. That's awesome, right? And you can track that over time, and you can definitely see the results. So you get the Chalk Pro app, where you're going to see your weights going up over time. You're going to get the in-body scan, which is going to show you that your body composition is changing over time. We have in our on-ramp now, we have some mobility tests that are coming out really quickly. And so we can start testing your mobility, and then every 90 days, we can retest your mobility to see if there was any improvements in your mobility, which is awesome. I'm super stoked that head coach Mike has been spearheading this and getting this all ready for us. I think it's super awesome. And then we track subjective goals. So we ask you, hey, how are you feeling? How's your energy? Are you sleeping better? And those are personal to you. You feel better. And so you can say, hey, I feel better. Another objective goal that you can tell us, and you don't have to if you don't want to, but hey, my clothes are fitting better. They are fitting tighter in the areas that I want them to, and looser in the areas that I want them to as well. So those are the ways that we can help mitigate, those types of things. The common pitfalls of training and getting on a new fitness regimen. It can be tough, I know, and a lot of people just want to get going and do their thing. And, you say, just willpower, just get it done, just go to the gym, just get it done. But that's not always realistic. And, we have helped so many people, including myself. Like, I'm a guy that has been working out for over 17 years, actually almost 19 years now. Like I said, it was just, hey, I know I need to get in the gym, but I needed to have somebody help me do that. And it's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to continue to have help. I've had coaching now for almost 5 years, and I wouldn't go back. I love it. I love just walking into the gym, opening up my phone, knowing that I have the plan that's going to work good for me. It's not going to be overtraining. It's not overcommitting. It's not neglecting my form because I send them my coaches' videos. My coaches are remote. And so I send them videos, and they coach me through the internet, which we offer that as well at our gym. We have, I think we have 7 or 8 or 9 online clients that don't even live in the area. And we do the same thing. We give them the plan. We have them give us videos. We coach them through the internet. And it works really well. Now, it's not as good as if they were at our gym, because we could perfect their form in real time. But if you couldn't have and you wanted to train with us, and we can do that. And it's not like, oh man, you're going to not do well because you have online coaching. I don't think that. I've had online coaching now for 5 years. We've offered online coaching at our gym for 7 years, and we think it's a great alternative if you don't live near us. Some of our online clients actually drive to us to get one-on-one coaching on a regular basis, because they do want that in-person, real-time coaching and cueing and coaching and stuff like that. All right, guys. Well, that's all I got for you today. I know this is a short one. Next week, I'm going to have Amanda Westfall on, which she's a foot doctor, and I can't remember what they're called. If I say it, I'm going to mess it up for sure. But she's going to be on. We're going to talk about foot health and strength training, and I'm really excited to have her on. So stay tuned for that, and hope you guys have a great week, and we'll see you on the other side, all right? I'm going to leave you like I always do every time this year, and that is, success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. And everything you want in this life is on the other side of your fear. Thanks for joining us on the Go Heavy or Go Home podcast today. We hope you got a lot of value and had a ton of fun. If you guys want to learn a little bit more about what we do, or just have a ton of resources at your fingertips, head over to benstrengthwarehouse.com and hit the Start My Journey button. All right, guys, until next time, go heavy or go home.